So, tonight, I originally had the intention of building a Saiba Syphoner version of Jeskai to see if this worked. And so, I guess to start this story, I identified a couple of problems immediately that had me uncertain about playing Saiba Syphoner. One was that I'm not sure if this is actually worth playing if you're casting for 4 mana, so that you need to do your best to build a control deck that gets rid of its spells proactively. And the other, I guess more or less being an extension of the first, that means and makes it's really hard to play board wipes. So it occurred to me that partially we can kind of get around that by playing more Planeswalkers and more Shark Typhoons. And that kind of flies now that Control has access to the Wandering Emperor, but isn't fantastic. So I wanted to try to do an Unholy Heat version of the deck, playing Mnemonic Sphere as a 1-mana cycler that puts an artifact in the graveyard. And long story short, the ratios on that just didn't work out. I couldn't get the deck to have all the tools it needed, and especially the things that I was having to do to make Unholy Heat work made it so that the deck just had, like, no possible way that it was going to have a realistic game plan against food. So I wound up pivoting to a Yorion build that I think synergizes pretty well with Saiba Syphoner, Wandering Emperor, and Narset, which are cards you kind of already want to play together anyway. And then that allows me to fill up the deck with stuff like Omen of the Sea and Fable of the Mirrorbreaker that also don't need to be super expensive instant and sorceries and help keep the instant and sorcery count down, which is a really weird thing to try to do. But essentially, I was kind of torn between trying to figure out how to make this deck seem like it had game against blue-white control, food, and Phoenix all at the same time. I ultimately came to this conclusion that if I wasn't going to be main decking Anger of the Gods, I probably wanted to be playing March of Otherworldly Light against food, and especially with Saiba Syphoner. I probably wanted to be playing Portable Hole against food and blue-white auras. I probably wanted to be playing some number of Flame Blessed Bolts against Phoenix. It just seems like that's such a powerful card to be recurring with Saiba Syphoner. I probably wanted to be playing Lightning Helix against everything, and I think I got this to a point that I'm pretty happy with. We get to sideboard into more Portable Holes and more Marches if we're playing against food or blue-white auras. We get to sideboard into a bunch of counter spells and Fable of the Mirrorbreakers if we're playing a control mirror. And other than that, Aether Gusts, Anger of the Gods, I assume are still going to be useful against Phoenix. I know I said Anger of the Gods doesn't really synergize with Saiba Syphoner, but I assume that the one matchup that it comes in against is Aggro decks and Phoenix. And I think that it's probably going to be so good there that, like, the Saiba Syphoner synergy isn't really hugely relevant. But we'll see. I kind of hope that this Fable of the Mirrorbreaker Yorion thing actually turns out to be good, because I'd like to, like, trim a Teferi and put another Fable of the Mirrorbreaker in the main. I feel like the discard part of it is actually going to be pretty good at helping enable a Saiba Syphoner and eliminating some of these bad removal spells game 1 in the mirror. But we'll see. We'll see. The fact that you can discard spells to Fable of the Mirrorbreaker so that they're in the graveyard to get back with Saiba Syphoner while also actively removing spells from your hand seems kind of tempting. And then, like, Reflection of Kiki-Jiki Saiba Syphoner is also super cool. Just making more copies of this card. And then, the ramp is also excellent. So, we'll see. I have high hopes. I think that I'm going to just make the default heuristic for keepable hands, assuming as though I'm going to be playing against Phoenix. So, for example, this is not a hand that I would keep against Phoenix, because it does not include enough lands to be a keepable hand. This, however, seems relatively perfect. needing to put something back sort of sucks, because I really do need a red source, but also this mountain is awful. I could just keep 4 lands, Archmage's Charm, Saiba Syphoner, I suppose. Let's just assume I'm going to play a control mirror, and not against Phoenix. Curious how it'll line up with the hate you'll see for the graveyard, utilizing decks like Rakdos, Arcanist, Food, and such. The nice thing is that I don't know that I'm, like, super convinced that this deck gets hurt too much by graveyard hate. Like, Saiba Syphoner is the only card that really gets hurt by it, and I'm still a control deck. So, like, if they go too deep on hating Saiba Syphoner, they, like, if you play a Rest in Peace against this deck, yeah, you make my Saiba Syphoners awkward, but you still spent an entire card on that, right? Like, I have to draw 2 Saiba Syphoners before Rest in Peace actually does any kind of advantageous exchange, and these are still flash threats. Very little of my deck actually cares about the graveyard. Alright, well, what you got on 4 mana, opponent? Anointed Procession Treasures. Okay. Well, fair enough. So I guess let's shock this in, and now if my opponent plays something that I need to counterspell, I have a counterspell, and if they play something that I don't need to counterspell, I can go put a counterspell in my hand. History of Benalia. It seems like that would make a lot of things that I would need to counter. Or kill. Kill is the word that I actually want to use. Alright, well, in that case I gotta remove that. The Flame Blessed Bolt here is really unfortunate, because I cannot actually get that out of my hand, and I could Saiba Syphoner Archmage's Charm if I could just not have this Flame Blessed Bolt in my hand. Disappointing. Alright. Well, I guess I'm probably just supposed to Saiba Syphoner back the Archmage's Charm, and hope that the opponent doesn't play something that's going to be horribly troublesome with the Anointed Procession. I'm assuming my opponent's probably on a hidden stockpile list, is what I was about to say, and it would seem that yes. Alright, so my opponent is now going to get to make an extra token every single turn. That's going to be annoying for the deck that does not have a board wipe. I can find answers to hidden stockpile, I suppose. This is going to be annoying. I think I just have to hope my opponent doesn't top deck something too horrifying.
Focused and disciplined, you can hone your prowess.
Okay. Omen of the Sea isn't awful. We do get to try to look for a land drop here. Perfect, 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 perfect. Both of those absolutely perfect. Land drop, and we can march the hidden stockpile. Howdy, Cerisium. How goes it? So they can punch Narset down to 1 here. Yeppity.
This is overwhelming.
Hidden stockpile is just Scry, right? Yes. I'm actually a little surprised they're not playing 3-color. Hidden stockpile feels like it would go really well with Onicult Anvil in an Anointed Procession deck. Does Wandering Emperor plus Yorion work the way you want it to work? Yes. Chris thinks March is a good card now. I do think March is good against food. I also think that's literally the only matchup that makes me even remotely interested in it as a card. Alright, let's see. My Narset's gonna die. I don't think that I care too much about playing this Yorion, so I think I'm just supposed to hold up Archmage's Charm, although I do want to make a land drop, so maybe I should sorcery speed it. No, my opponent has so few resources and I'm about to get rid of the hidden stockpile. All I want to do is like not give them an opening to play a History of Benalia here. So I think holding up the counterspell mode of Archmage's Charm is worth more than trying to hit a land drop by sorcery speeding it. The reason I'm not sorcery speeding this March of Otherworldly Light is because the opponent is going to most likely sacrifice something to turn on Revolt for Hidden Stockpile, which if I march the Hidden Stockpile after they do that, then like they have one less creature, which could be relevant. Alright, bye-bye Narset.
Miss your company.
Bye-bye a couple of my HP points. There's that scry. Set a stop in the opponent's main phase. If I move to the end step, there's going to be a trigger to do the hidden stockpile-y stuff. Don't want that. I don't think I want to get rid of Lightning Helix here. Even if I were to draw Saiba Syphoner, it wouldn't really be correct to get the life gain out of my hand since I'm playing against Meathook Massacre. I think the White March is very tempo inefficient, which usually is not acceptable in older formats. Alright, do I want to hold the counterspell here? I think I'm still supposed to. I think I have enough time that I'm okay doing that. We get to hold the Yorion. We're taking a little bit more damage than I would like to. The opponent's incentivized to stock up until they get 2 cards they want to play in hand. It's going to be a really long time before I can play this Yorion if I'm addicted to holding up this Archmage's Charm. So I think that I'm supposed to not hold up this Archmage's Charm longer than this. Alright, I'm going to assume that I should play Wandering Emperor on my opponent's turn after they attack. Actually, should I do it before I take damage? Or not? I'm gonna go with not. I think that I'm currently, by virtue of not activating Hall and not doing something here, I think that I'm bluffing enough of a counterspell for my opponent that they're unlikely to want to do anything, but that doesn't work out. Regrettable. Alright, so let's play Wandering Emperor.
Run away.
We down-tick Wandering Emperor.
Keep watch for intruders.
Go to my turn. Saiba Syphoner. That's still not good. I do think that I remember to put red lands in this deck. Probably?
May your blade strike.
1 mana short of playing the Syphoner and the Yorion this turn. A little bit of a bummer that we're not going to be able to pull that off. This Meathook Massacre is now going to be a significant problem.
Years of training. For this?
Do I want to trade off with the 2/2 right now? Huh. I don't believe so. I don't know if I have an incentive to. I have an incentive not to. I have 1 more March in my deck that I could hit. They can get rid of Meathook Massacre. For that matter, I could Saiba Syphoner back the March to get rid of the Meathook Massacre. I'm going to assume I should not attack here.
I've learned much during my travels. Let me show you.
Don't believe I want either of those. Huh. Okay. Do I want to -2 the Wandering Emperor? No, because they have a Phyrexian Tower available and they'll probably notice that.
Guards, to me.
Okay, this game plan of empty my hand of spells to enable Saiba Syphoner is currently looking very awkward. This was not how we drew it up. But I mean, the mountain has turned out to be less than ideal. Sort of. But on the other hand, both of our Archmage's charms and that Saiba Syphoner turned out to be incredibly important. So it's hard to say. I think it actually still did turn out to be correct. It just is definitely a very weird way of feeling correct. I don't actually know that I have enough time to do this Teferi. I guess I could play the Teferi and then like downtick on the History of Benalia, maybe? Saiba Syphoner, March. I have room to cast a 2-mana spell. Teferi, uptick, 5 mana, Syphoner, plus March getting rid of Helix? Okay, I guess that actually does work. I should probably have downticked Wandering Emperor first, but I don't know that there are many cards that would have a reason or a way to punish that ordering.
Keep watch for intruders.
Alright, well, now I definitely want to attack with these. Oh, I don't actually. Well, I kind of do. If they elect to trade here instead of when the History of Benalia thing pops, I think that's good for me. Okay. Iganjo did punish me for attacking. That wasn't on my radar. Oh, okay. These blocks also punish me, sort of? I guess I take 2 damage that I wasn't going to take otherwise? Alright, so we play Syphoner. All of these are going at me. We snag March. I could hit the token instead of Meat Hook. Is that better? So I'm going to chump block 2 of these, block another one, take 4 down to 3. Or if I march a token, I block all of them, get drained 1, but there's still a Meat Hook on the field. But I also don't lose the Lightning Helix if I hit a token. I think I'm supposed to keep the Lightning Helix. So they sack this token with the tower. Oh, right, that gets shuffled in so the mountain goes back in my deck. Nifty. Hive sucks. Well, I'm on plan uptick to Teferi and hit a red source, I think. Alternatives. We downtick Wandering Emperor. We have 2 blockers. Hive puts us to 2. I could downtick to Teferi on Meat Hook Massacre. I also have Hull block, so I go down to 3 that way. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm supposed to do, although it is not exciting.
Let's take it back a step.
Back to wandering. May your blade strike true.
I did remember to put red sources in the deck, right? Yeah. We do have 15 of them. Maybe that is actually a little low. How did Nada do yesterday? Pretty decent. I don't remember what the exact win rate was. Yeah, Fatal Push hurts. Alright, down to 2. This feels mostly okay. Sort of. Not like extraordinarily okay, but like sort of okay. Whoa, alright. I'll take my opponent conceding when I have 5 uncastable cards in hand. What? 15 does sound low? Huh. Alright. I guess, maybe did I over... 4, 10, 14, 15... How many white sources do I have? 12, 15... Oh! At some point I really messed up this split. I'm supposed to cut, like, 2 white sources for 2 more red sources. Oh, right, I accidentally broke my parity because I forgot about Irrigated Farmland. That's why. Okay, so... I would board in Anger of the Gods here, but I'm kind of scared to board in Anger of the Gods, considering I accidentally messed up my mana base. Portable Hold definitely comes in against a tokens deck. March feels like it probably comes in against the... what even was the name of that thing? Hidden Stockpile deck? Probably not supposed to be too excited about Fable of the Mirror Breaker here. I'm probably not supposed to be too excited about Flame Blessed Bolt here. Yeah, seems fine. Do I want Shark Typhoon? Probably not. Alright, new plan. Not a coward. We're gonna play Anger of the Gods. So if we need 1/3 more than 18... Anger doesn't need to be cast on 3, though. Hey, cool. Our mana base is... perfect? Yeah, actually, this is totally perfect. I play Glacial Fortress on 1, Mountain on 2, Sulfur Falls on 3. I can't cast Archmage's Charm on 3, but that's okay. No, my hand. Opponent's very surprised about my red mana. My deck only has 6 black cards. So your curve and your mana sources have a lot less to do with how many cards of a color you have, and more to do about when you want to cast those cards on curve, and how often you want to cast them on curve. Which is part of the reason that, like, splashing for only a very small number of cards usually isn't worth it, because you still end up having to build your mana base to, like, fully support the color anyway, just to cast those cards on curve. If you are going to splash, it's usually for a card that you don't care about playing on curve. That, what's the right way to describe that? That sort of mindset applies to Constructed just as much as Limited. No! The mana... Here we begin to see one of the weaknesses of an 80-card Yorion list. In a 60-card deck, if you draw 6 lands, the percentage of how likely you are to draw your 7th land is significantly lower than in a Yorion list, where there is less self-balancing by getting mana flooded and mana hosed. Alright, well, bye-bye Yorion. I do like top decking Portable Hold, though. That makes me happy against Hidden Stockpile. It's sad to not be able to Portable Hold a token, but what you gonna do? Opponent knows about Lightning Helix, so they can't really fire up the Hive of the Eye Tyrant here. I have to assume the opponent is probably playing Wandering Emperors. That seems like a card that would just make sense in their list. Yuck. So they have to uptick here? Yeah.
My will must be obeyed.
No!
Blood for knowledge.
That's so free and good for them. Yuck. Alright, Omen of the Sea. What do you have to say? Portable Hole. Would normally be good, but I've already lost my Yorion, so I don't really think that flies here. Archmage's Charm. You would have been so good last turn, Archmage's Charm. We could have countered this Soaring. Do you know the percentage difference it makes in your odds to draw lands, to draw one land from a 60 versus 80 card deck? I don't know exactly how different those odds are. But, I mean, I guess it would be as simple as, so a 27 land, 60 card deck is equivalent to, what, a 36 land, 80 card deck?
These are not for the weak.
So what's 22 out of 60 compared to 31 out of 80? It doesn't exactly work like that, because it's like 22 out of... Let's go with 22 out of 53 and 31 out of 73. And the difference in those two is the amount of difference that it makes. If you keep a 5-land hand, how likely you are to... Oh my, no. Absolutely not allowed. Was I supposed to let that resolve and then steal the angel? I don't think so. Oh, but I could have bounced the other angel and then punched the Soaring? Maybe I was. Huh. Weird. Do you... Oh, you do get cheaper with Planeswalkers. Sweet.
Keep an open mind.
Okay, I'm assuming I'm supposed to try to hardcast this Shark Typhoon. Its difference is pretty much 1%. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty significant amount. So, assuming that that happens every draw step for the game, 3 games, well, 2.5 games a match, means that it's going to make a difference in how many lands you draw in, like, what, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3 matches? Oh, only cheaper from creatures. The part where this says Planeswalker, my brain automatically completes, ah yes, that must be the cost reduction part of it. But no, it means that it can bounce Planeswalkers. Yick. Call of the Death Dweller is now a white card without Death Touch. Really? Okay. So you do what, 13 damage to me? Harsh. More hives. Rude. Hi, kitty. You want to be let in? Look at these free channel points when the kitty goes and fetches himself. I'm not certain whether I should be Lightning Helixing the 2/2 here or cracking the Omen of the Sea. I believe I should probably be Lightning Helixing the 2/2. Aw. Well, thanks for paying the socks tax.
Meditate.
Ooh, alright. March of Otherworldly Light. Okay. That's actually kind of the best draw in the deck here, I think. I gotta work so hard to stop you from thwapping the microphone with the tail, cat. Nope. Bad auto tapper. Alright. Hard Castity. Set an upkeep stop in case the opponent thought seizes my Narset. In that case, I want to crack Omen of the Sea. It's the new... Oh, as in they reprinted it, not there's a bug on Arena that's making it the wrong color and doing the wrong thing. Gotcha.
Wish to know my secrets? Very well.
Do, 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 do. Huh. Was not expecting them to fire up the hive in full knowledge of my March of Otherworldly Light. But, okay, here we are. Do I plan to play Elden Ring later today? Probably not, because I'm going to end up getting this edited for YouTube and try to get it out tomorrow. I'll probably end up playing Elden Ring this weekend, though. Okay, we did not end up getting our Narset removed. We drew an extremely good card. That makes me happy. Let's play a Narset, which is also a 3/3. Activate the Narset. Find an Anger of the Gods. That one's not as good right now. Punch the Soaring. Wasn't it better to wait for them to tap the Hive? Nah, because they can exile cards in our graveyard, and technically that matters because we have Saiba Syphoner. There is some benefit to having them tap the card, or tap the land before we remove it, because it does deny them some mana, but I think in this case, that's probably not relevant. They do have the instant speed sacrifice spell that makes a treasure and draws cards, and denying them 1 mana on that actually is somewhat relevant, but I think not letting them exile a card is more important. But then again, they did exile Wandering Emperor instead of an instant or sorcery last time, so, like, they've already demonstrated that they're willing to make some kind of just strict errors. I don't know. This time around they did it correctly, though. Oh well. Alright, let's see. Let's play Wandering Emperor, make a token. How do I want to... Oh, okay, cool. I don't have to decide what I want to do with the Wandering Emperor. Cardboard Live struggles showing the effect of the token. Like that shark can't fly, or that it doesn't specify the size of the shark? Size of the shark would make sense. The enemy token. Oh. Oh, right, because this is, Does Cardboard Live ever show temporary attack? Oh, it doesn't load anything. Huh, weird. +1 the baby shark, and double block the hive. And just take the 4? Yeah, that's interesting. I was thinking down tick on the hive, and then throw the 3/3 instead of the in front of the 4/3. But maybe having more power so we actually kill the Soaring is more important? Okay, I think I actually agree with that. I think that's not the line I would have taken, but I think that I'm convinced that that is better. To plus the Wandering Emperor on... Actually, okay. So here's the best line in order to play around my opponent having Fatal Push. The Shark Typhoon token resolves. Wandering Emperor resolves. I do nothing. I move to blocks. I double block the hive with the 3/3 and the 4/4, and then I plus Wandering Emperor on the 3/3 Shark. That way, if my opponent wants to stop the hive from getting double blocked, they have to Fatal Push before I'm committed to choosing something with Wandering Emperor, and if they do Fatal Push the 4/4, then I can choose whether to -1 or -2 the Wandering Emperor with more information. Ah, here we go. That's the best play. I like thinking that out. I would never have noticed how, like, nuanced that was in terms of giving ourselves the best odds of killing Soaring if we've identified that that seems like the most relevant thing we can do here. Alrighty, I should have fixed the mana base. Oh well, hand's fine. We're playing a control mirror anyway, so all I need is lands. Well, this is awkward, but... I don't want to have tap lands later if I don't need to. Wow, Jwari Disruption was the single most punishing thing for me having played a Hall of the Storm Giants. I was trying to play around the possibility that I could, like, top deck a mountain, but I guess I have 2 Jwari Disruptions that would have rewarded me for going Sulfur Falls into Hall of the Storm Giants. I don't think I need to care about Jwari Disruption on 2 here. But... maybe. Oh, okay, the next card was the... I'm going to assume that I should not play the mountain, because that doesn't give me Archmage's Charm. Should I just put Yorion in hand? Or am I supposed to play around the possibility of my opponent playing Narset? I don't think I need to be in a hurry to put Yorion in hand, because I'm not in a hurry to play Yorion as a 5-drop anyway. Does my opponent try to Archmage's Charm themselves to draw here? I think I would actually let that happen since they're so close to discarding a hand size anyway. Okay, Omen of the Sea is cool. Wandering Emperor would make me Jwari Disruption. Does Memory Deluge make me Jwari Disruption? I don't believe so, since this is my only answer to a Teferi at the moment, and my opponent's pretty close to having to discard to hand size anyway, which isn't actually a very big deal in game 1, because they're just going to discard cards that are probably dead removal spells anyway. Saiba Syphoner. I don't want Lightning Helix. I do think that I probably want the Syphoner. I need something better to do with it, but I feel like it's probably supposed to be a good card in a control mirror. Do I put Yorion in hand? Probably not. I have a weird answer to Teferi right now in the form of Lightning Helix Teferi, Saiba Syphoner. Huh. Then Lightning Helix again. Alright, I think I'm supposed to Expressive Iteration now. Ugh. Whiffing on lands does not make Expressive Iteration good in this situation. I think I want to take Fable of the Mirror Breaker, exile March of Otherworldly Light so I can answer if my opponent has a Shark Typhoon here, and then just play my land normally. Okay, nothing is good. Having a somewhat smaller number of counterspells game 1, I feel like is going to make my life a little awkward in control mirrors like this. If my opponent just jams Teferi. Wasn't that a good iteration turn? I wanted to leave up Saiba Syphoner. And I felt like I had enough cards in my hand that it wasn't hyper necessary for me to iteration earlier than I needed to, since I was still making land drops. But maybe I was supposed to go for it? I don't know. Okay, I think I can play Saiba Syphoner here. I feel like this probably gets a counterspell out of their hand, which is good enough for me. No? Okay, well, we put a threat on the board, and we get back Expressive Iteration. Seems reasonable. 88 Eyes. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Ooh, Wandering Emperor. Delightful. Love more threats. Okay, a little bit of damage done. Let's go ahead and play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So now we are threatening a little bit of ramp that the opponent's probably going to try to interact with. Eventually, we get to filter away some... yeah. Icky. Alright, well, I don't want to let my opponent have a ramp, so unfortunately that is an Archmage's Charm that's actually a 2-for-1. Yeah, I do want to target my own creature with this. We're gonna Archmage's Charm my Lightning Helix? That's a lot of counterspells out of the opponent's hand that I'd be happy to have. Yeah, okay. Do I want Jwari Disruption or March more? Huh. I'm going to assume that I'm supposed to want to keep... Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. This works very well for me, doesn't it? I very nearly didn't notice that I could just counter the thing that was stealing my Goblin Shaman. Yeah, there's a Teferi. That makes me sad. We playing around Farewell? Nah. I'm not super concerned about my opponent spending 6 mana at sorcery speed against me. March killing the creature lands and sharks is very valuable, so I do think that it's generally better than the Jwari Disruption. But considering that I could actually keep my Goblin Shaman by noticing that I could Jwari Disruption the original spell, that was definitely a significantly better line. I'm tempted to fire up all the Storm Giants to kill Teferi. Wandering Emperor, sure. That doesn't actually matter. In fact, it's actually better for me that they did this now. Oh, okay, they're going after the Syphoner. Sure.
I am almost sad to see you go.
Alright, so I'm assuming I should probably just, like, kill my opponent's stuff? I'm assuming I don't want a second Fable. Yeah, Archmage's Charm is better. But that does require me to not do anything and not make a land drop. Oh wait, no, I can't Expressive Iteration here, right? Post-combat? I believe I can. Alright, let's go ahead and kill both of their planeswalkers and make a token. And then Expressive Iteration to try to hit a land drop. And we successfully hit a land drop. So Glacial Fortress to hand. Red Source to play. Alright. I'm feeling vaguely favored at the moment. I mean, they do have the Memory Deluge, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, that's pretty expensive. And I do have a Yorion. Cool. Also, Narset is cool. Cards are cool. Alright, so let's play a land. Opponent can't really interact with Narset if they want to cast Memory Deluge, and I assume they want to cast Memory Deluge. They should respond to Narset's activation by casting the Memory Deluge so that I don't try to find a counterspell. That is a huge opportunity cost for them to not Memory Deluge this turn that I am, like, so incredibly okay with.
Still have much to learn. I have just the trick.
I'm just gonna... I mean, both of these are good. They're out 2 counterspells already. I I assume I should probably play the Teferi over the Shark Typhoon. Have I made a land drop already? I think I did. I played the Glacial Fortress. Yeah, okay. Do I want to play the Teferi then? I have a clue, not a treasure token. So I'm assuming that I don't want to play the Teferi here. If they counter the Teferi and then just sorcery speed the Memory Deluge, that'd be really bad for me. So I don't think I'm supposed to give them that option. So I think I just pass. Shark Typhoon does overlap with Wanderer. This is true. But it also draws a card which Wanderer doesn't. But it is a little less aggressive than Wanderer. Tough calls, tough calls. I assume I'm just not supposed to let them have Teferi. Okay, well, we're done here. Teferi also draws a card. Right, but the draw a card comparison is in regards to Wandering Emperor versus Shark Typhoon, and having Shark Typhoon gives me the ability to do something on the end of their turn that draws a card, whereas Wandering Emperor doesn't. Teferi is kind of an entirely different paradigm. Like, if I'm taking Shark Typhoon, I'm taking Shark Typhoon because it's better than Wandering Emperor, and if I'm taking Teferi, I'm taking Teferi because I want something that's totally different from Wandering Emperor, right? Not that I'm actually convinced Shark Typhoon is better than Wandering Emperor, just saying that if I did take Shark Typhoon, it would be because either I want more Wandering Emperors and don't want a Teferi, or I think Shark Typhoon is a better Wandering Emperor than Wandering Emperor. Oh, right, and when this match ends, help me out by spamming in chat that I need to go fix the mana base. So let's see. I don't want Portable Hole, I don't want Flame Blessed Bolt. I don't think I want March of Otherworldly Light against this deck. I guess it is still, like, semi-useful? But I'm assuming I want Dovin's Vetoes, I'm assuming I want Mystical Dispute, I'm assuming I want Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So, like, am I supposed to want March of Otherworldly Light over Lightning Helix? Was playing green-white tokens against Velomachus Reanimator the other day, realized that I ran 0 cards to remove a big Velomachus. My guess would be that if you wanted a good card against that, you're probably looking at Graveyard Hate to attack the reanimation aspect more than anything else. I don't know, is like Lion Skin Sash the best version of that currently? Maybe? I feel like playing 2 Lightning Helix 2 March is probably incorrect, but oh well, whatever. Is this a keepable hand? Yeah, I should just draw what I need. It's a pretty keepable hand if we end up drawing a blue source. So, it's a good thing that we did that. Nice. Not only was it a blue source, but it was also a white source for Wandering Emperor. Oh, look at my opponent having to play a tap land. Loving it. Now we get to the awkward part where I do actually want to hit my next land drop, but casting Archmage's Charm as a draw 2 while on the draw is going to force me to discard way too many cards. So I think that I'm kind of just forced to cycle Shark Typhoon for 1, which is bad if my opponent has a Wandering Emperor to resolve here. No, it's just a March. Excellent. Alright, now let's not miss our land drop. That's pretty bad. That's also extremely bad. Yowzas. Alright, Expressive Iteration it is, which probably gets countered. But at least I'm not discarding a hand size. And now we hope the opponent doesn't play Teferi. Narset's also bad, but more acceptable-ish. Huh. Alright, well, I guess let's try playing Narset and see if I get Jwari Disruptioned. Mystical Dispute. Okay. Well, I'm still not discarding the hand size, which is a small victory. Okay, well, that's the game. Unless they down-tick Teferi here, I don't think that I can win. Okay. We are ready to move on. Don't miss land drops in control mirrors. It's a bad idea. Yep, okay. No changes. Take the play. Keep the hand. 2 Omen of the Seas in a control mirror when I'm playing the Yorion deck seems like it's probably going to be a good idea. I'm assuming that I'm just supposed to sorcery speed this Omen of the Sea so that it doesn't get mystical disputed. I'm going to assume I want both of these. Is Sum of Ephemerate worth it? I don't think so, because it doesn't have enough targets, I don't think. And, like, the opportunity cost is... I mean, I guess Yorion's always a target. Provided I have, like, an Omen of the Sea that we've drawn. And it's interesting with Saiba Syphoner. It does seem like the opportunity cost would be Magma Sprays. Or Flame Blast Bolts, actually. Which I'm a little uncertain of. Do I want Syphoner? I guess I probably want Syphoner. I think that I can Expressive Iteration here because I have Dovin's Veto. Ooh. That sort of sucks. I'm going to take Fable of the Mirrorbreaker for the sake of science. Irrigated Farmland not being an untapped land. I guess, okay, if I was on the draw, this would be extremely bad, and I would have got 1 card off my Expressive Iteration, but I need to hold up Dovin's Veto on 5 mana, not on 4 mana. I don't think they have any 4-drops. Like, if they Sorcery Speed Wandering Emperor, that's just not the end of the world for me. Narset's fine.
Past, present, and future
Yeah, because
are bound by threads of time.
now I get to do this. They're holding up Mystical Dispute, but I don't care because they can't Mystical Dispute Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. And now I'm still holding up Dovin's Veto. I feel like I'm probably going to win here. They have to answer this token. Letting me to treasure advantage while on the play is just so bad for them. Let's see. What do I want to discard? I think I want to discard Lightning Helix. Alright, lesson learned. I didn't want to discard Lightning Helix. I'm moderately bashful about that. Narset continually finding new ways to remind me that it does things. Alright, let's shock a little bit and pass. Wandering Emperor. Alright, so we can Dovin's Veto that. And then because I discarded Lightning Helix, this Saiba Syphoner actually costs 2 mana and gets back Dovin's Veto. They can Mystical Dispute my Saiba Syphoner here for no value, which they should do, which lets them resolve a Teferi. But, like, I think I'm actually okay with letting them have a Teferi in a position where I have Dovin's Veto and 2 creatures on board. So you know what? The Lightning Helix discard? Totally all according to plan. Couldn't have played that Saiba Syphoner for 2 mana if I didn't discard it. So now we're pretty close to flipping Fable of the Mirrorbreaker with Saiba Syphoner on board, which is, like, pretty neat. Yeah, I was gonna say, are you just gonna hardcast Shark Typhoon here? Oh, I was really hoping I was gonna top deck untap land. Oh well. So let's go with Punch Narset, Punch Face, post-combat Teferi, opponent instantly concedes after I downtick on the Shark Typhoon, holding up Dovin's Veto. No? Sticking it out? Alright, kudos, opponent. See what the draw step is, realize Reflection, Saiba Syphoner is in play, then concede? Because, like, this lock is going to be pretty brutal.
You know what? I'm not done.
Alright, opponent. If you want to keep sticking this out. I'm not even going to attack with the Saiba Syphoner, and... Oh, wait, yeah, I am going to open myself up to a Wandering Emperor. Because I totally just have the ability to Dovin's Veto the Wandering Emperor. I'm going to make a copy of Saiba Syphoner anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry, opponent. It's not good enough. I have answers for everything. I will continue to have answers for everything because I get to put one spell of my choice back in my hand every turn. Oh, that feels so good. Mana base, yes. But wow, this feels good. Hey, you think anybody's figured out that this Fable of the Mirror Breaker card is kind of solid yet? Because I'm thinking that maybe it's a decent card. Okay, well, this hand has cards. Technically, it can't do anything until turn 3, which is a bit of a problem, but I don't know, well, that's not my problem. Been wanting to test Overcharged Amalgam with Kiki. I have done that in Standard. It was one of the kind of key centerpiece combos of the, well, one of the mini combos in the, it's going to be annoying, Mindlink Mech Kiki-Jiki Giants Overcharged Amalgam plus other combos combo deck that we were working on. And that deck was actually just excellent. I don't know if Overcharged Amalgam was, like, completely correct. It was probably the most questionable inclusion in the deck, but it still was excellent when it actually established the lock. I'm going to assume that it's actually correct to play Fable of the Mirror Breaker here. I'm assuming that my opponent is playing Niv... No, they're not playing Niv Mizzet. Because they don't have Giganta as a companion. Wait, what are they doing? I was assuming that I didn't need to hold up any counterspells until turn 5, but... Oh, okay, this works. Alright, so let's get rid of Shark Typhoon and Expressive Iteration, because I can't actually do anything at sorcery speed for a while. Lands? That's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Alright. Oh, I should have probably considered that maybe I want to play Wandering Emperor here. That would have been interesting to have remembered. Let's let the kitty out. Whoop. So this is probably where I would have wanted to play Wandering Emperor. Now I think I'm just playing Omen of the Sea. Flame Blessed Bolt. We get a 2/2. Yay. Alright, I think we can just play a tap land and pass. Not magic related, but I saw a video yesterday of somebody beating Malenia with a DDR dance pad. I'm gonna have to, like, put in some work to get that good, huh? Lightning Helix, my Kiki-Jiki. Oh no! My opponent's certainly gaining a lot of life.
Run away. You'll be safe. Keep watch for intruders.
May your blade strike true.
Doop. Well, I'm not really going to get to figure out what my opponent's playing. So, I'm assuming they are playing things that get hit by Aether Gust. And... I mean, March of Otherworldly Light seems decent against Klothys, I guess? Flame Blessed Bolt seemed bad? Maybe? Portable Hole didn't directly have any targets? They're definitely going to be playing something that I just want every Portable Hole against. I can feel it. Alright, and let's cut the Shark Typhoons for Fable of the Mirror Breakers, because I don't know what I'm doing. Budget 5-color Niv? Yeah, but Niv with no copies of Giganta is really unusual. Well, without the one copy of Giganta, I suppose, really. so I'm really not assuming that they are on Niv. But maybe I'm supposed to assume they're on Niv. They're on... Well, I guess this still technically might not be Niv, but maybe I should have assumed that they were on Kavu regardless when we saw 4 land types. Opponent has a perfect hand. Wants no looting to be done. Alright, I would consider myself thoroughly scared. Happy with an Aether Gust right now. I want to Aether Gust after they've drawn their cards so that they don't immediately get to replay the Kavu that I'm Aether Gusting this turn. Still no... Oh, there's a swamp. Okay. So they're almost certainly actually playing Niv, but yeah, not playing Giganta seems like that is just strictly incorrect. IMO. So I'm going to lose if they have untapped land plus Niv here. I don't think that I can afford to take the 5 and then Wandering Emperor at the end of turn. Yeah. Alright, if I can hit an untapped land, play Teferi and downtick on Niv, there's a hope still? Alright, this is Do a Blish.
I have got new moves to teach you.
And hit the land. Which means they are going to get to Niv next turn, because Niv is the card they would have put in hand, and I can't Jwari Disruption that. Harsh.
Guards, to me.
They're incentivized not to Dovin's Veto this. I'm incentivized to cry. They're incentivized to Dovin's Veto this. Alright, so we find ourselves in a particularly awkward spot. Did they not take... They didn't take Niv? Oh! I could win this. Well, 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 well.
Remember your training.
So I can Jwari Disruption the Drown in the Lock. I want a Wandering Emperor the Kavu, I think? Okay, so they don't actually Drown in the Lock there, which is unfortunately correct. They're actually messing up. They should not be exiling my graveyard with Clothis when they have Drown in the Lock. They should be hitting their own graveyard. Wouldn't cast Niv with a full grip. It's worth it to cast Niv with a full grip if I'm tapped out. Okay. Alright, that's going to be inconvenient.
If you show remorse, we need to move quickly.
next time, then. My judgment is final.
Yeah, opponent now realizes that their Drown and Lock doesn't actually work. Wow, okay, we got a Dovin's Veto out of their hand, huh? Swanky. Having to shock to be able to Jwari Disruption this now is... Oh, wow. And the Mystical Dispute, huh? Alright, well, that Mystical Dispute probably beats me. I don't think I can come back from this Teferi now without that Narset.
Let's skip to the good part.
That was surprisingly close to actually stabilizing, but now I am dead. Okay, so against Niv, we don't really want Lightning Helixes, we do want Mystical Disputes. Do I want Portable Holes? Probably. I can probably accept a veto as well. I'm probably going to need all the Shark Typhoons, though. And I don't need all the Mirror Breakers. I'm a little concerned about Expressive Iteration not having a lot of time in this matchup. Alright. We are happy to keep a hand that just has lands. And now we want to draw into counterspells. Not that counterspell, but I'll accept it in the spirit that it is given. Which hopefully is in good spirits. Hey, there we go. Archmage's Charm is exactly what we're looking for. Happy, happy, good times. Did I set a stop in their upkeep? Oh, are you technically a creature? Harsh. You are technically a creature. Alright, Shark Typhooning at this point doesn't accomplish anything because it doesn't even erase the Clothis. March of Otherworldly Light, that I'm kind of excited about. I can't really get rid of the Clothis right now. Aether Gust is the best draw in the deck, so I would say that I am probably happy about having received it. Five mana, what you got? Crisis for 3. Okay. Means they probably have more Crasises than that. If I don't put anything into the graveyard, then their Clothis doesn't do anything. Alternatively, I could just Aether Gust the Clothis. But I think I'm supposed to just counter the Crasis and draw a card. I could just March the Clothis, I suppose. Maybe that's actually what I was supposed to do. I was probably just supposed to March the Clothis. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to veto Expressive Iteration. Opponent doesn't want to trade Crasis for Shark. Okay. Think I just want to cycle Triome here. Alright, Fable the Mirror Breaker's cool. Do I want to get rid of Clothis yet? I don't believe so. Do I want to play Fable the Mirror Breaker? Leaves me exposed to my opponent going untap Black Source, play Niv Mizzet with Mystical Dispute backup? Yeah, I'm assuming I'm not supposed to do that, so I think that I shock here. And now I can Wandering Emperor through Mystical Dispute. It probably gets Dovin's vetoed. Yeah, no, I don't actually like that. Lightning Helix is fine. They also don't have a white source now, so... Okay. Alright, I think I take that as my opportunity to get the Clothis off the board. I'm 1 mana short of being able to play this Fable of the Mirror Breaker safely. I think I just have to hope that they don't have untapped Black Source off the top. I don't think I'm supposed to play around Niv Mizzet plus Mystical Dispute here. Alright, that is a Black Source, but it's a tapped Black Source, so I am all good still. We get to counter the Teferi. That should be good enough for us to win now. Oh, yeah. Very, very, very yes. I can get rid of a Wandering Emperor, which should inform them that I have another Wandering Emperor, which makes them not block this. They block anyway. We play Wandering Emperor, uptick on the token, eat the Krasis, pass the turn. Okay, so I am vulnerable to Niv Mizzet plus veto? I guess Niv Mizzet plus dispute, too. But, yeah, binding on Teferi I just don't care about. Do I Saiba Syphoner here, getting back Archmage's Charm? I'm going to assume yes. That seems like a good use of mana. Even if all it does is get rid of a Mystical Dispute, that'd still be a victory. That wasn't worth gusting? No, I think having Gust for the Niv Mizzet probably fine. I guess... Wait, hold on. Yeah, so now I have an Archmage's Charm and an Aether Gust in hand. If I had gusted the binding, I would have Teferi in play. Yeah, maybe it was worth it, because it would make the Saiba Syphoner only cost 2. Yeah, I think we just hold up as much mana as possible here. I'm about to win because of Reflection and Saiba Syphoner anyway. D-Spark. No. No. Oh, I sort of Saiba Syphonered for the veto, huh? Wait. No, I don't care. Because I'm just going to have another Saiba Syphoner anyway. Okay, well. Yeah, then I just don't care. I could have played Saiba Syphoner at the end of turn, but I want to be able to have Reflections be not summoning 6 so that they can't just remove the other Saiba Syphoner. Yeah, again. My decisions don't really matter. I have like 30 ways to win here. But winning with Kiki-Jiki Saiba Syphoner seems like the more entertaining way to do it. Alright, so let's go ahead and Aether Gust the Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet goes back on top of the deck. Vanishing Verse. Alright, I would like to Saiba Syphoner back Dovin's Veto, and then the opponent's going to concede. Yeah. So Saiba Syphoner back Dovin's Veto the Vanishing Verse, make a copy of Saiba Syphoner, get back Archmage's Charm. Oh, I can tell this is going to be a fun deck already. Alright, no white mana, but I'm sure that's not going to be a problem. No, my Omen of the Sea. Okay, actually this is probably Rakdos Arcanist and not Auras, which means they actually take Expressive Iteration. Yeah. Saiba Syphoner, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and Key to the Archives getting Time Warp does sound very, very silly. Does Arena show your opponent cards in the order you have them arranged? No. I mean, you can technically rearrange cards, but I believe it shows them in the same order that it starts your opening hands, which is all your lands on the left. Or something like that. Let's not put white cards in our hand, since we don't actually have white mana anyway. So I could hold up Archmage's Charm here, or I could play Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Painful Bond. Oh no, my opponent's drawing cards. Okay. No, my Archmage's Charm. Alright, but how are you answering Teferi, opponent? That doesn't answer Teferi, opponent. Huh. Do I want to discard any cards? No, I'm good. Alright, well this kinda sucks, because now I don't actually want to play Teferi. I think I'm just supposed to kill their creature. I could play Teferi, but like, that's probably wrong. Boop.
We've got the edge in this fight.
This feels difficult for the opponent to handle. If they kill my creature, and I don't hit a 5th land for Teferi, I'm hypothetically in, like, long-term resource trouble? But if they don't interact with me at all, I like my position. Okay, Dragon's Rage Channeler is technically not interacting. Thoughtseized Teferi is mean. Opponent, why? I can cycle my Shark. Yeah, I'm allowed to do that. Okay, well, let's attack then. And downtick Wandering Emperor, I guess.
Keep watch for intruders.
Ooh, this is kind of awkward. Creature, sorcery, instant. They're sort of close to being able to attack Wandering Emperor with Dragon's Rage Channeler, which makes me not really able to put Yorion in hand here, because I want to hold up the ability to cycle Shark Typhoon to trade with the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Currently, drawing an untapped land would let me go Yorion next turn. Painful Bond, okay. Opponent doesn't want Dreadlord Arcanist? Oh, okay. Howdy, Sengir. How goes it? Ooh. Hello, Hip. Reminding me of your presence as you do. I can feel my 30s creeping up on me. Just around the corner. How often do people actually cast Shark in 1 versus 1 formats? I mean, play EDH these days. Certainly a lot less often than you cycle it. It's not never, but most situations you are low enough on resources that hard casting Shark Typhoon and not getting to draw a card is worse than getting to draw a card. But there are some scenarios where, like, against Phoenix, for example, you'll run into a lot of scenarios where you actually do have a lot of resources and you just want a bunch of flying blockers, and if you're not immediately going to die, then hard casting Shark Typhoon is good. I assume I'm probably just supposed to cycle Shark Typhoon for 2 and stack block. Oh, hey, Flame Blast Bolt is cool. Means if the opponent does have like a fatal push here, I can still kill the Dragon's Rage Channeler if I want to. No. My poor creature. Well, I'm really hoping they don't get Delirium. And they are really hoping they get Delirium. Yeah, alright. I actually kind of appreciate that line from the opponent. Dragon's Rage Channeler goes up to a 5/5, kills both of my creatures. Unholy Heat kills Wandering Emperor. I think that probably was the right move for them to make. Although I don't know if they actually needed to... Well, they probably did need to concede when it didn't work. The alternative is Unholy Heating the creature, but then you still leave me with a big Wandering Emperor. Oh, I guess my Wandering Emperor then immediately gets to downtick on the Dragon's Rage Channeler, which they're probably not excited about. Alright, yeah, that kind of does suck for them. I think they made the right play, and it was a cool play. So, what are we doing here? Can I actually play Flame Blessed Volt against them? It doesn't hit Arcanist. I guess it does hit Rahilda. Is Anger good? Is Fable good? Hits Croxa. Yeah, but that kind of sucks. You're still getting 2 for 1, which is not what you want to do. Do they still run it? I assume that they are almost guaranteed to run Croxa if they're playing Luris. I'm assuming Narset and Shark Typhoon aren't very good, and that I'm probably supposed to play Portable Hole instead. No, I'm not, because of Kolaghan's command. Am I supposed to cut Portable Holes, then? I think I'm probably supposed to play March and Aether Gust instead. That's weird. Yeah, Anger... I should probably board in Anger. Hey, cool, 2-mana Saiba Syphoner. I'm currently happy I didn't board in Anger, though. Well, no, I don't want Fable. I definitely want removal spells that can hit Rahilda. Archmage's Charm stealing Dragon's Rage Channeler isn't a removal spell that can hit Rahilda, but it does at least provide a blocker? Trying to come up with all the heuristics for when to hardcast Shark Typhoon is pretty hard, but generally speaking, you hardcast Shark Typhoon when giving your opponent a free time walk means that you still win the game anyway when you have Shark Typhoon in play. That's when you hardcast Shark Typhoon. And there are times where just giving your opponent a free extra combat step is good enough. So they just have to take Archmage's Charm here, I guess, which still lets me Saiba Syphoner it back, because now my Saiba Syphoner is back to 2 mana. Should I be casting Saiba Syphoner in my upkeep? I guess I didn't set that stop early enough somehow, which feels literally impossible, but okay. Don't want it to flip tonight. Do 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 do. Alright, so I don't think the opponent's going to stop me from playing Wandering Emperor here. That seems difficult for them to accomplish. As soon as they clicked attack, all it was too late, I guess, because from their perspective, they had already auto-yielded through the end of the turn. Certainly the fact that the graphics don't really keep up is annoying. Alright, so they take Archmage's Charm, so I can't steal the Dragon's Rage Channeler here. I have to debate whether I want to chump block Rahilda? I'm going to assume I'm not supposed to chump block Rahilda. Ew, Fable the Mirrorbreaker is really good for them here, if they have a land. They don't. Huzzah. So let's see. I can Sorcery Speed Wandering Emperor and remove Dragon's Rage Channeler. That now feels incorrect. What to do, what to do, what to do. Second Dragon's Rage Channeler is a problem. That's a lot of clock. I have a lot of Wandering Emperors. So, like, in the long term, I'm hypothetically going to win this resource war. The question is mostly, how do I avoid dying before then? I could sorcery speed the Wandering Emperor, down tick on the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to value gaining the life at this point.
Run away. You're done.
So they can kill Wandering Emperor here pretty easily. How was I supposed to kill the Rahilda? I don't know that giving them access to the... whatchamacallit was actually right. I think I was supposed to accept just taking the 6 damage. Yeah, giving them access to the Fable here seems wrong. I think I messed up.
I guess that's
Ancestral Recall does have the downside of costing mana. So I think you could make a very strong argument that Gitaxian Probe is a better card draw spell than Ancestral Recall. Dreadward Arcanist is a problem. Yeah, I think I messed up really, really, really hard by not exiling the Rahilda. I don't know if I would have been able to win the game either way, though. Currently happy I don't have Anger of the Gods in my deck. I saved 1 life by not exiling the Rahilda, and I gave them a card. It just absolutely wasn't worth it. So they attack with Arcanist, they get Thoughtseize. They Thoughtseize Wandering Emperor. I block Rahilda, uptick Wandering Emperor. Hopefully eat Rahilda. Then on my turn, downtick on Arcanist. In the meantime, I will have taken 6 damage. Down to 5, up to 7. Yeah, I'm not really stabilizing this one in time. Doesn't that make Time Spiral even better? Yeah, but you gotta start with 6 mana for Time Spiral. Oh, there's an Archmage's Charm that got exiled last turn that I missed. Okay, cool. I've lost. I forgot they drew a card and I didn't look at what the card was. Okay. Do we do any changes? Kolaghan's command on Portable Hole is just so incredibly brutal. I don't think so. Am I Spanish now? I didn't accidentally... No, we're still in English on Twitch. You had me concerned if I'd accidentally switched that over. Alright, let's take the play. Yeah, alright, we'll keep. Am I in tech? Sort of, in the sense that I mostly work with online databases, but not in the sense that... Oh, I should have played Deserted Beach. Well, I guess I'm still going to play Omen of the Sea, so it's fine. But not in the sense that I, like, do any kind of actual techie back-end stuff. I just use databases. I don't know how they actually work. Dreadhorde Arcanist, which we are happy to Lightning Helix. Happy to get rid of some lands. Happy to get rid of an Arcanist. I wonder, should I have let that resolve to change what spells they were likely to cast? I don't believe it's worth paying 2 life to deny them information. Well, maybe it is. It was. It was worth paying 2 life to deny them information here. Because it would at the very least make them use the Inquisition of Kozilek with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Especially because I'm probably going to shock next turn to play Teferi most of the time here anyway. That was just inefficient. SQL, Linux guy. No, 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 no. I'm a
Overconfident.
Google Sheets kind of guy.
Just another
I work at a Magic card store, and most of what I do is
too wonderful.
inventory and
Guards, to me.
pricing. Which mostly just means working with Crystal Commerce, which I think is technically under the hood, probably some sort of SQL. I assume I'm just supposed to put Teferi into play here,
Sorry I'm late.
and then just get rid of the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
You need to slow
Yeah, they can Unholy Heat my Teferi, but... Oh, did I not attack? I should have attacked. Working in an LGS the Dream. I do very much enjoy my coworkers. Although, full disclosure, it is still work. There are definitely people who get the impression that working at an LGS is going to be like fun and games. Which, I guess maybe it is at like some weird clubhousey LGSs that I have seen in the past. But like, those tend to be the kind of stores where you don't actually know if you're going to get your paycheck. And the one I work at is, you know, an actual business that is fully a business. But you know, I enjoy getting my paycheck on time. I think that's a very big plus of working somewhere. That has nothing to do with being an LGS. No, but it does have to do with the perception that some people have of what LGSs are. Huh. I'm really surprised they would cast Inquisition here rather than put the Lurrus in play.
We need to move quickly.
Yeah, I don't think they can beat this. Oof. Then I got a job doing it now. I no longer have that hobby. Hey, there's a reason I do not sort cards as a hobby anymore. I do not find it relaxing. Inventorying my collection? No, those are just all in a box. I could not be paid to care more than I do. Yeah, I'm assuming there's no reason that I need to have Portable Hole or March of Otherworldly Light against an opposing Yorion deck on turn 1. I don't know what my opponent is doing. We're going to shock now that I drew Shark Typhoon, because I actually do want to cycle this. Hitting Fable of the Mirrorbreaker on 3, I think, is like the most important thing that I could do. So getting one extra draw at an untapped land, I think, is worth it. Ultimatum. But why Yorion? Most of the Ultimatum combo decks with, like, what is it, Sphinx of the Trove? I've seen were 60 card lists? But, yeah, I agree, this probably looks like Ultimatum. Inquisition of Kozilek. Alright, that sucks. Please don't take my Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. You should take Expressive Iteration. There you go. Alright. Let's high roll. Never didn't have it. Alright, so best case scenario, the opponent doesn't interact with us, and we get to play Teferi here. Worst case scenario, opponent interacts with us and we don't get to play Teferi here. Snow-covered plains. I'm beginning to think this isn't Sultai Ultimatum anymore. What's happening? Huh. Okay. It's a little bit more lands than I would have liked, but we shall make do. Alrighty, turn 4 Teferi. It's probably gonna be good.
I know my responsibility. You know what? I'm not done.
Yay! I get to play this Saiba Syphoner, getting back probably March of Otherworldly Light, maybe Expressive Iteration. They're definitely going to do something. I don't know what something I'm supposed to expect here, though. Oh, we're going to flip this Fable of the Mirror Breaker with Saiba Syphoner in play? Oh. Alright. Engine approaching. Ugin and Ulamog would make me very sad. Forsaken Crossroads naming the second white, not naming red. Casualties of War would also be... Don't put that into the world. Don't manifest that evil on me. I am not prepared for that. I might actually still be able to beat that. Weirdly enough. Oh, I wish I had one more mana.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Alright.
Don't make another.
Teferi gets poked. Okay. Yeah, Teferi number the next one. That's a problem.
Hold that thought. We need to move
This
quickly.
is a wee bit harsh. Alright, let's go ahead and exile that there land.
Run away. You'll be safer.
Alright, Teferi down, so we've successfully curtailed a tiny bit of card advantage. The reason to not creature land breeding pool is that if you didn't need the additional mana, you don't want to expose your forests to removal. By animating the least valuable land with Nissa, they get a blocker, and if they untap with Nissa but don't untap with the blocker, then they have the maximum amount of mana. Like, if I had killed the breeding pool instead of that white source, I would be very happy, and they would be considerably unhappy. So they have immediately wound up in a better position because of that. So they do have to interact with our Reflections of Kiki Saiba Syphoner plan, or else things get awkward for them. They do get to kill our Teferi here, because I think that I would rather have Reflections of Kiki in play than Teferi. Probably. Although that could be a mistake on my part. 6 mana, so they want to sorcery speed something before deciding what to do with Nissa. So with these creatures in play, I do get to Reflections of Kiki Saiba Syphoner, get back March their blocker. Oh, the trouble is they can put Yorion into play, can't they? And I can't kill Nissa through a Yorion.
Behold, nature's true power.
Okay. Wait, this isn't
Cannot protect.
good for them, right? I guess maybe it is, because they get a second blocker? but they don't get to put Yorion into play. I guess maybe they could put Yorion into play, but if they put Yorion into play, they only have one blocker. Oh no, don't time out opponent, don't time out opponent! Oh, so they wanted to uptick Nissa. Okay, they got more time, somehow. I don't know how, but...
The land shall conquer you.
Okay. So this works, they still end up with 2 blockers. Yeah, alright. Alright, so Teferi dies.
Really should have seen.
Then they play Yorion. Okay, yeah, this sort of works. I'm still, like, winning. But this definitely sort of works. I think I'm probably supposed to sacrifice a treasure to get to cycle Raugrin Triome. Alright, get rid of a land.
My judgment is final.
Cast Expressive Iteration. Yeah, I'll take more Syphoners. Why not? So let's see. Let's make a copy of a Syphoner. Get back March. March their land. I'm gonna sack this Goblin Shaman. The 2 damage to Nissa doesn't really matter, but the treasure means that I get to play Saiba Syphoner and march whatever land they end up animating with Nissa this turn, which I think is worth losing that creature. Oh, although I kind of missed this. If I wasn't going to do that attack, if I had one more land and didn't want to sack my creature, then it would be correct to Reflections of Kiki activate at the end of my turn, so that I could still march while they were on their turn, but then I would actually get to have the 2/2 blocker as just a random chump blocker, which, you know, would be good. Yorion at face and not at Wandering Emperor, huh? Little bit of a mistake from them, but understandable, assuming that trading with my Syphoner was something they actually wanted to do, so that all they had to do was throw the forest at the Emperor. But I got a second Syphoner, so I don't have to chump block. Is it time to hardcast? I don't think so, because I'm actually probably going to cast a 6-mana March of Otherworldly Light on the Yorion. I could downtick Wandering Emperor instead. Oh, no, I can't. I'm 1 mana short of hardcasting it, because I still have to activate Reflections of Kiki, I think. We're close, though. We're close. Cycle for 1 to march their land, but they don't have any lands that I can march. Oh, gross. Okay. Well, now I might actually lose. What a completely disgusting card for them to have. I really need them to whiff a couple of draw steps. Bouncing my Kiki and getting to take an extra turn and drawing an extra card. And activating Nissa again. That's a horrifyingly large swing in this game. Oh, nope. No whiffs. Only hits for the opponent. I'm gonna get so destroyed by the thought distortion in game 2. Alright, well Maze Mind Tome is horrifyingly awfully bad for me. I don't think I can beat this.
The land fights for us.
I don't think they can attack with Overgrown Tomb, but they don't need to. I would love to trade a Siphoner for Tomb, but I don't see that happening.
Our swords will cross again.
In what world can I come back from this? I think the answer is one where I use Yorion to blink both of my Saiba Syphoners. And somehow strip my opponent of lands. I can't use the treasure, this is correct. Not unless I kill Karn first. I've actually had a completely absurd game. The fact that they are currently winning this is sort of insanely impressive.
Stand down.
The Temporal Sundering was so absurd. Oh, did they just get to Temporal Sundering again with the Wishclaw Talisman? Alright, how many Temporal Sunderings do you play, opponent? Is the answer 2? Can I beat that? No, I can't. I'm just dead if they have a second one. Yeah, alright. That's the ball game. Wishclaw Talisman Temporal Sundering is a cool combo. Alright, so we get to play a bunch of Vetoes, a bunch of Aether Gusts, a Mystical Dispute, some Marches, some Fables, we cut Portable Holes and Flame Blessed Bolts. And Lightning Helix, probably. Wandering Emperor, maybe. It is still... It's a proactive threat. Question is if I care about a proactive threat. Probably not that much. Okay. What if I shouldn't be playing that many Narsets against them? If I can't actually afford to tap out at sorcery speed? No, I am supposed to play for Wandering Emperors. Specifically because I do need to be proactive against Thought Distortion. That is a reason to play 4. Retrieve Socks. Ugh. He let himself out not too long ago, but let's take a look after this. Alright, take the play. Keep the hand that has Dovin's Veto and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Saiba Syphoner being immune to Inquisition's pretty cute. Alrighty, opponent. How brutalized do I get? Hive of the Eye Tyrant in the ramp deck. This is certainly a mana base. Huh. I guess the good news is I'm currently relatively immune to Thought Distortion. Sort of. Wishclaw Talisman number 1. Okay. Do I want to discard anything? I think the answer to that's actually just no. If this mountain was a blue source, I could theoretically have Dovin's Veto up even through Inquisition, but I don't need to have Inquisition or Veto up through Inquisition until next turn. Oh, Shocking was worth it here because I could just play the Syphoner at the end of turn if I do use the Veto, though. Oh well. Alright, we should win here. Drawing March kind of sucks because it makes the Saiba Syphoner more expensive, but... yeah, okay, not Shocking Steam End's last turn actually wound up hurting quite a bit. Okay, so we are immune to Inquisition, we are immune to Thoughtseize. In fact, if we get hit by Inquisition, we're actively helped here. If they play Narset... I'm sorry, if they play Nissa here, am I supposed to let them resolve Nissa? Divine Purge. Oh, that's cute with Wishclaw Talisman. Okay, well, let's go ahead with Saiba Syphoner then. If they have a Mystical Dispute for this, and I don't get to Dovin's Veto it, I can still march the Wishclaw Talisman. Huh. Okay. Well, that eats up a lot of their mana next turn. Okay. Knowing that they have Pact of Negation changes the context of this in some interesting ways. Oh, this costs more, huh? I assume I just have to be okay with that, though. They have to pay for Pact of Negation. That eats up a lot of their mana. Okay. Alright, I feel advantaged here. My Saiba Syphoners are still not very good against Thought Distortion. But, oh well. I think my Mystical Dispute and Triome are kind of actively not what I want right now. Playing this Teferi is tempting. If my opponent doesn't have anything bonkers for one turn, then I'm okay. I don't think I can accept that risk. I think I need to hold up Dovin's Veto. Okay. So I have the Eye Tyrant attacks, exiles something, I Saiba Syphoner in response. And then I get to Wandering Emperor at the end of turn? The problem is I don't actually want to return that. So, fine. Damage dealt. Should I exile the Hive, or should I actually try to kill my opponent? I guess I should probably actually try to kill my opponent.
I'm going to end it. You're done.
Should doesn't mean will.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Can I risk playing Teferi here? If it gets countered, I can't Dovin's Veto anything. I don't think I should take that risk. Explore is fine. Alright. I believe I have actually successfully beaten down my opponent. Oh, this is such a weird matchup. What am I even supposed to be doing? Suddenly I don't actually want Mystical Dispute. I think I'm supposed to want March. I also feel like I'm supposed to want Wandering Emperor, but I don't really want to add it on the draw. Alright, whatever. My opponent didn't look to be on a Thought Distortion plan that game, so like maybe I can hope they're not going to be on a Thought Distortion plan this game. That's not really how sideboards work, but I would like to believe. Okay. I don't think I'm going to get enough time to play Fable of the Mirrorbreaker on the draw, which kind of makes this whole plan sort of sus. Generally speaking, when would I board out Fable? I don't know yet. I assume matchups where I need to be quick, but I am not sure, or I guess matchups where Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is too slow, but I don't really know what that means yet. Sure. Do they end up having to take Jwari Disruption here, then? If they can't resolve a ramp spell here, they might have to take Fable. My hand is sort of resilient to this Inquisition. I don't think they should take Expressive Iteration. That feels like an error. Because they can't resolve a ramp spell with me having Jwari. Okay, yeah. I think taking Fable is correct. If you don't... Yeah, I think taking Fable is just correct. Maybe if you have a ramp spell here, you're supposed to take Jwari Disruption, I guess? Do I need to cycle this Shark Typhoon? I'm nervous about what happens if I try to cast Expressive Iteration here, and they Karn me? I think I'm supposed to cycle this because of how badly I want to find white mana. Huh, okay. Omen of the Sea is interesting. Alright, so we hold up Archmage's Charm. Having Jwari Disruption means that it's harder for the opponent to do, like, Inquisition into resolve something meaningful plays. But I am definitely facing down a clock in terms of when they Thought Distortion me. Am I just supposed to Archmage Charm myself in response here? I think I'm supposed to Omen of the Sea in response. I don't think that's what I can allow them to take. I think this plays best around... Thought Distortion to have Omen of the Sea in play, probably. They know I kept the card on top, which means they actually have to consider that I might have an untapped white source on top for Dovin's Veto. In reality, I kept the Expressive Iteration, which was actually probably a mistake. Yeah, it was a mistake. No, I think I got to Expressive Iteration here. Oh, thank goodness. Untapped white source. Oh, that's so important. Would I rather have Aether Gust or Fable of the Mirrorbreaker? How do I feel about Karn? I can't Jwari Disruption Karn. I will be able to Dovin's Veto Karn. I think I'm supposed to take Mirrorbreaker. That might be a large mistake. So now I can cycle Irrigated Farmland if I don't need to counter anything. I think I get to ignore Yorion if they play that. I'm assuming Wishclaw Talisman tutoring Thought Distortion is a line that their deck is supposed to be built around. Okay. Wishclaw Talisman tutoring what? I wish I had a Narset's Reversal in my sideboard I could tutor up with Wishclaw Talisman. Just came back from about a 6-month break. What are some of the solid historic decks at the moment? Blue-white Auras, blue-white Yorion Control, Jeskai Control, green-black Food, and then that was kind of like a couple of weeks ago. Some new cards just came out in the last set or the last alchemy set that might have changed that up, but those are the generic, just very solid ones. Alright, so very, very likely to be Thought Distortion here, huh? I think I'm not supposed to cycle the Irrigated Farmland so that I have more insulation against Thought Distortion. Would I rather play Fable of the Mirror Breaker or Narset? Okay, this is going to sound weird. I think I'm supposed to play Narset, and I think I'm not supposed to downtick Narset. I'm going to be disappointed if Narset gets countered, but them's the breaks. Alright, Narset, no downtick. Having Jwari Disruption means that if they tutored Hand Hate, they can't go Hand Hate, take Dovin's Veto. Okay. But that's just Yorion. Okay. Well, I guess now things do get more awkward. Jwari Disruption no longer has value. I think I'm supposed to go for Fable here. I think I'm still not downticking Narset. So now they Thought Distortion me, attack Narset down to 1. If I can cycle into an untapped land, I can Yorion, Blinking Omen of the Sea, and Narset to recover from Thought Distortion, which might be doable. Okay, I might be able to recover from a Thought Distortion here if they don't have anything else. Our opponent is playing a Ramp Planeswalker combo deck. It is a little hard to define, but very cool.
Interesting technique.
They're playing this very well, though. Fragment Reality on... No, I don't have a random creature card with lesser mana value. Rude. I can't really afford to Dovin's Veto that. Three cards remaining for the opponent. If they don't have a Thought Distortion, I wonder what they tutored for Wishclaw Talisman. Tutored for with Wishclaw Talisman. Okay. So that does have to get vetoed. Oh, the lack of a white source here is a problem. I want to Wishclaw Talisman to Dovin's Veto and then March of Otherworldly Light the Wishclaw Talisman, but... Oh, no, I've got another white source because of Goblin Shaman. Okay, so I can do that. Sweet. Okay, the fact that they ran out Teferi makes me feel like they did that in order to get the Dovin's Veto out of my hand, so I think I'm supposed to grab Dovin's Veto. Losing the Narset isn't excellent. If they thought distortion me, I will be sad. But at least I'll have Omen of the Sea. I wonder if I was supposed... No, I didn't have enough mana to grab Saiba Syphoner for the veto. Because then if they did thought distortion me, I'd be slightly better off. Oh, wow, they didn't attack the Narset. Oh, cool. Okay. Hall is great. Yorion's great. Sacking this lets me Wandering Emperor to kill the Yorion while still having up Dovin's Veto. I think I'm supposed to do that. Which makes this the wrong order. Huh, okay. Playing around Lightning Helix. I'm happy with that. I want to keep my Narset in play because I have Yorion. Oh, I think they didn't draw into something scary. I hope. Hill with Eyes. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. I wonder if they actually don't have Thought Distortion in their deck. That doesn't seem like that would be the case. I don't think I can let them have that farewell. Okay, well, Archmage's Charm is excellent. Oh, we have lethal. I will endeavor to not miss it. Wow! Considering that that was like an extremely strange pile of cards, that was a... Wishclaw Talisman is such a cool card. It made that so hard. And, like, so... I have no clue who's supposed to be favored there or in what ratios, but just the existence of Wishclaw Talisman made that such a complex game. Oh, that was cool. I liked getting to play that. Jeez. And yeah, again, opponent played that, like, exceptionally well. I'm assuming. I guess. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm actually... It's hard for me to tell apart, like, what I think my opponent's doing or might be doing from what they were actually doing, but I felt scared that entire time. Alright, well, unfortunately my greed knows some limits, so we will not be keeping the one-lander and hoping to draw well. We do get to keep this hand, though. This is a pretty good hand. So if I ship March of Otherworldly Light, we need to really, really, really hope the opponent's not on food, and since they're not revealing Luris, I'm comfortable assuming that they're not on food. They immediately play an Overgrown Tomb, so I'm, like, kind of scared. No, they are on Abzan Humans? Okay. Curious. Thalia's Lieutenant. Alright, well, let's be mana efficient and kill the Thalia's Lieutenant. Oh, okay. Well, if my opponent doesn't have anything, then my opponent doesn't have anything. Oh, mana efficiency. I want to play a 3-drop, but if I do, then I can't really kill this Thalia's Lieutenant ever. Boo. Alright, opponent, be a deer. Just attack with the Thalia's Lieutenant as a 1/1 so I can Shark Typhoon to kill it. Thank you. No interaction, no interaction, no interaction, no interaction. You know what? I'm like so okay with that. This doesn't really hurt my plan of play 3-drop plus Flame Blast Bolt at all.
If you wish to surrender, meditate.
Okay, more Narsets, why not? There's a reasonable argument Windfall's the card that should have been banned instead of an Epiphany. Maybe. I do think that there is a lot more fun to be had with Windfall decks than there is to be done with Epiphany decks. Like, Windfall is very, very, very good, but I don't think that it is busted in a way that is uninteresting. And I think there might be an argument that Alrund's Epiphany was busted in a way that wasn't interesting. Alright, let's see. I want Portable Holes. I probably want Marches. I can probably play Angers. I'm assuming this is a matchup where Fable of the Mirror Breaker is too slow. I think we finally found it. I can probably also trim some Narsets. Do I just trim every Narset? I mean, I probably trim Teferi. I don't know. Is Narset better than Teferi? Is Narset worse than Teferi? This is very unclear. I can definitely trim some Shark Typhoons. Maybe. I mean, most of the time 3-mana Shark Typhoon is just going to be awful against humans. The fact that it was somewhat useful that game was sort of, I feel like, a just huge abnormality. Huh. We are making Saiba Syphoner worse here by boarding into more spells, but I guess it's all low-cost removal spells that I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to use, so yeah. Polite of the opponent to give us a 3-minute game 1 after we just played an hour-long combo control mirror. Okay. This is an acceptable hand. Ooh. Alright, I think that means I'm playing Steam Vent now that we drew the Flame Blast Bolt. Thalia. Rude. On the one hand, I sort of want a Portable Hole, this Thalia. But on the other hand, I think I'm supposed to try to get instants out of my hand? Proactively? Fast? I'm actually, like, totally unsure on that. Okay, so we Portable Hole this one, we Lightning Helix the next one. Oh. That's not answerable at all. I guess it actually is answerable. This is kind of cute. Oh, wait, is this... I have to exile it? Yuck. Oh, well. No, I'm just not going to do that. I'll just do it this way. I'm really happy they didn't have a 1-mana protection spell there. That could have gotten very bad if they did. Gross. It's a very good collected company. Alright, so what? I think you have to take Lightning Helix here? Leaving me with 2-mana Lightning Helix, 2-mana Saiba Syphoner feels like 1,000,000% the wrong choice. Okay. It's your call, opponent. We're going to zap that Syphoner. And we're going to play this Syphoner. And we're going to get back, I guess, probably the March at this point. Alright, well, I'm at 21. I have a blocker for the Thraben Inspector. So unless my opponent has a lot more collected companies... Okay. Yeah, Adeline's annoying. I should have attacked with the Thraben Inspector to get an additional point of damage. Alrighty. Well, I'm still moderately close to stable-ish. Depending on how you want to describe stable-ish. Hopefully they blink Spellbinder, but they should blink Ranger Captain. They blink Ranger Captain. Bummer. I'm assuming that's grabbing another Thraben Inspector then. I feel like if I manage to make it to the point where I play Yorion, I'm probably in good shape. I think I've just made it to the point where I'm going to play Yorion. I want a Lightning Helix in response to this clue, so they have one less draw step to find like a Blossoming Defense or something. Jeez. Wow. Alright, well, General Kudro was like the most blowout possible card that I could imagine. Oh, they should have grabbed the March there. Oh, no, I see, they're just gonna exile my entire graveyard. Okay, wow. That was dumb. Well, the Saiba Syphoners no longer have value, so time to trade off with a Ranger Captain and hope to top deck Anger of the Gods. Cool. Alright, time to top deck Anger of the Gods. Wow. That went from, like, super favored to completely unwinnable in one card. I'm very nearly upset by that. Do I want to play Fable of the Mirror Breaker? I should absolutely be playing Fable of the Mirror Breaker instead of Narset. I should be playing Fable of the Mirror Breaker instead of Shark Typhoon. Like 1,000,000% that's more correct. Do we run any sweepers other than Anger? No. Sweepers don't play super nicely with Saiba Syphoner, really. So I'm kind of leery of including them. Yeah, okay. This seems fine-ish. I mean, we didn't really need a board wipe that game, up until our opponent played 3-mana Anthem plus Creature plus Rest in Peace on one card. Prior to that, we were doing totally fine. Thalia. Gross. Well, actually. I guess I should probably just March Thalia. And I'm assuming I'm supposed to get rid of Teferi to do it. Wandering Emperor versus Saiba Syphoner is an interesting choice. I think I'm probably supposed to take Emperor. Although that is not with total confidence. Gideon Blackblade. Oh no.
I believe in you.
Gee, opponent, do you think I have a Wandering Emperor here? Alright, Ranger Captain is not the scariest thing. I forget what the rest of this -6. Yeah.
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa, and I will protect my people.
So now they can just not attack, which is a little bit rude.
I will lend you my strength.
So I think what I want to do here is Anger the Gods. The fact that I didn't downtick this Wandering Emperor probably baits them into... No, it doesn't bait them into cracking the Ranger Captain. Interesting. Okay. Alright, we find ourselves in a strange predicament. I'm probably gonna have a pretty tough time beating Collected Company. Looks like they don't have one. So I'm kind of priced into marching the Gideon at this point. Otherwise it just gets to downtick on the Wandering Emperor anyway. The land draw was cool there. Can I not march Planeswalkers? I cannot march... Well, I guess I can march it on their upkeep.
May your blade strike true.
You do not get to activate the Gideon at instant speed in response to this.
Curse the darkness.
If they attack Wanderer with Ranger Captain, I assume that I am supposed to block. This just leaves a Wanderer on the board that they have to commit to attacking to. Syphoner taking Wandering Emperor kind of is annoying. They might actually be supposed to take the Shark Typhoon. Yeah, come to think of it. Not a lot of point in down-ticking on the Ranger Captain, other than that it trades with the Ranger Captain.
Keep watch for intruders.
I think a long time ago there was a point where I could have Wandering Emperor down-ticked on Gideon, and I chose to up-tick the Wandering Emperor instead? Is that right? If so, I think that was probably an error, considering how this game is played out.
See you later.
So our opponent drew Collected Company, which is a problem.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
Could down-tick Wandering Emperor on Spellbinder, but I think just getting 2 2/2s is better. Saiba Syphoner is a fantastic draw.
Let your blade
Do I have a...
do the talking.
I don't. If I had a 1-mana removal spell that I could snag with Saiba Syphoner, then I could have put Yorion in hand. Saiba Syphoner and remove the Spellbinder, but I don't, so I can't. I could Saiba Syphoner Anger of the Gods, they sack Ranger of Eos in response. If Anger of the Gods is the line, then I messed up. Because I wasn't supposed to down-tick Wandering Emperor, but I don't think that that's the line. I think I'm just supposed to go wide? I think I just pay this. Yeah, there's the Coco. Yeah, I don't think I get to beat this. I really don't get to beat this. This would be a really good time to have Settle the Wreckage, come to think of it. But Settle the Wreckage I don't think works well with Saiba Syphoner at all. Need AoE. AoE doesn't actually work well against humans' decks. Ranger Captain's too good against it. Ticking 9, 12. Golly. Yeah, I don't see how I can get out of this.
Years of training for this?
Okay, so if I trick them into sacking Ranger Captain by grabbing Anger of the Gods... Oh, I can't play 2 Anger of the Gods because I don't have enough red sources. I'm 1 short. I think I still have to trick them into sacking Ranger. We do not succeed at tricking them into sacking Ranger. Alright. Yeah... I don't know. I'd be interested to run those back a couple more times. I feel actually favored there. But I think it's close. And I might be wrong. I think making the mistake with Gideon Blackblade was pretty highly impactful this game. And I don't know that I would have lost otherwise. Alrighty, so we're playing against a Yorion mirror, which means I am okay keeping a hand that is lands and nothing else. As odd as that might sound, I'm just assuming my opponent's on blue-white control, and this is a pretty decent hand against blue-white control. My opponent is not on blue-white control, which makes things slightly harder. That said, my hand's still good, so like, oh well. Abs and Yorion, huh? Curious. I can't really give much commentary because I have no clue what I'm supposed to be expecting. Possibly 5-color Yorion. Yeah. Okay, nothing out of the opponent. Very well.
I have just the trick for this.
Good job, Narset. Successfully filtered our deck quite effectively. Opponent perhaps not realizing... Wow! I'm just impressed at this point. Alright, our deck is maximum thinned. 7 lands in a row successfully out of the way. I have to be very careful about not shuffling those 7 lands back into our deck with these Saiba Syphoners. Oh. Okay. My poor hole. But also they don't draw a card, so that's cool, I guess. It does lose all land types, so if they had gone after my Steam Vents, my check lands would have entered the battlefield tapped. Alright, well, let's just go ahead and keep drawing cards. Apparently our opponent's blue, so maybe I should be more cautious than I'm being. But, oh well. The auto card lookup might not actually get Saiba Syphoner, because it doesn't occasionally know the new alchemy cards. Renegade Rallier. Okay. But did you have Revolt? You did not. Okay, I mean, those cards seem good. So Renegade Rallier, if they have Revolt, lets them return fetch lands and stuff, I guess, is the idea. So do you have... No. The answer is you do not have a Mystical Dispute, which is good for me.
Keep an open mind.
Guess I'll just grab this Wandering Emperor, zap this Renegade Rallier. Have I already played my land for the turn? I have. How disappointing. Shadow Fox, or rather the Shadow Fox. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Looks like an enigmatic incarnation deck. Ah, alright. I can believe that. Renegade Rallier makes sense in that kind of a list. Is enigmatic incarnation with mana cost 1 less or 1 more? I think I want Aether Gusts. Probably want Fables. Probably don't want Portable Holes. Probably don't want Flame Blessed Bolts. I'm probably supposed to want +1. Okay. So they're going to play a bunch of enchantments. Does that make me want Dovin's Veto? Maybe. Yeah, let's go 2 vetoes and find out what happens. It's like pot, but enchantment and a creature? Yeah, I just didn't remember if it was that it got a creature with more CMC or a creature with less CMC. But makes sense. You sack the Lithiform Blight and go and get a Renegade Rallier, which brings back Lithiform Blight. Lithiform Blight fixes your mana because you can cast it on your own lands. Or better than that, if you had already drawn a Fabled Passage, it ramps you by going and getting a Fabled Passage. Makes sense to me. Alright, we have turn 2 Aether Gust, turn 3 Archmage's Charm. That feels like something I am most certainly not allowed to mulligan. Aww. I'm assuming they probably take the Archmage's Charm here. they agree. Drawing the land almost makes me tempted to keep the Raugrin Triome so that I can cycle it. And then just play Hallowed Fountain turn 1. I'm not sure Enigmatic Incarnation sacrificing Urza Saga to go tutor up a 1-drop creature is, like, too likely to be busted. Yeah, okay, you're allowed to just have your 3-drop 3-power creature opponent. I'm cool with that. Really wish I had top-decked the Fable of the Mirrorbreaker this turn instead of the Expressive Iteration. Casting the Fable would be way cooler. So I'm not worried about them resolving a Enigmatic Incarnation because I have the Aether Gust, and they don't actually have any enchantments that they can put into play this turn anyway. Alright, well, now we get to just play the Fable and our land, which means we have on-board acceleration. Yeah, absolutely no intention of blocking. I want my mana. Oh, Juka Naturalist is cute. Would I like to discard some of these shock lands? Absolutely. Alright, opponent, do you want to trade your Naturalist for my Shaman? I'm assuming not, because you're already missing land drops. Cool. In that case, you can put the Juka Naturalist back on top and miss another land drop if you want. They do not want. How surprising. Finding of the Old Gods. Not interested in that one. If they put that back on top of their deck, then I Saiba Syphoner, grab Aether Gust. We must protect our precious Kiki-Jiki, who is going to assemble our Saiba lock. That's their job. Alright, let's be mana efficient. Grab that Aether Gust while we can. Oh, actually, let's grab Archmage's Charm. That sounds way better. Oh, 2 Archmage's Charms? Alright, well, I think we won. You wanna block opponent? Okay. Well, if the opponent can answer 2 Archmage's Charms with 5 mana... Moonblessed Cleric. Hey, you know what? I need stuff in my graveyard anyway. I'll counter that. Why not? Yep. Alright, well, Saiba Syphoner and Reflections of Kiki-Jiki continues to be quite good. I'm kind of starting to wonder if I should main deck 4 Kiki-Jikis. Like, it's won me a lot more games so far than Teferi. Although, to be honest, Teferi is, like, I think the best card to combo off of Kiki-Jiki, so I don't know if I'd necessarily want to cut the Teferis for Fables. I kind of feel like Shark Typhoon is the most likely thing that I'd want to trim. And then maybe, like, Expressive Iteration after that? Will Fable get banned? No, it's not good enough to get banned. It's weird. Fable is... I'm, like, having this thought in my head, and I don't know how to describe it, but Fable is busted at being a fair Magic card. It's not busted at being a busted Magic card. And I wish I could figure out, like, what I meant by that, because my brain knows that's what it is, but it doesn't know how to describe it. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is, like, the 3rd card brought to you by the director of... what's the name of that card? From the director of Asika's Chariot and Gideon Ally of Zendikar. It's a card that isn't busted, it's just... a lot of value stapled across multiple permanents that are hard to interact with and on rate. And, like, it's not busted because of its inherent power level. It's busted because of its resiliency, I guess? Yeah, I'll go with that. Alright, so this is not a good hand. So we're going to keep. Okay. It gets better if Flame Blessed Bolt is a real card. Although I don't want to play Flame Blessed Bolt on turn 1. But I kind of have to play Flame Blessed Bolt on turn 1. Okay, I guess the good news here is that I get to Flame Blessed Bolt something, and then I can play Saiba Syphoner as long as I don't get unlucky and draw a spell. Gross. Alright, Burning Tree Emissary. Into Robber of the Rich, which is not the creature they gave haste with Reckless Ringleader. So let's go ahead and zap the Robber. Alright, don't draw a spell. Don't draw an instant or sorcery. Actually, let's draw a land. Yeah, good work, deck. Nailing it. Alright. This is where Saiba Syphoner is about to be like... Can you imagine how embarrassed Snapcaster Mage is by this Saiba Syphoner right now? Like... completely and totally embarrassed. The Saiba Syphoner on 2 mana gets to actually draw a card and doesn't die when it blocks the one power creature. It's like so amazing. Meanwhile, this Bone Crusher Giant with haste is like just probably gonna kill me. Guess I can double block it, maybe. Other than that being bad, that's something I could do. Alright, let's trade out with Burning Tree Emissary. Oh, alright, well. I did not have a way to win this game. Bone Crusher Giant with haste. Burning Tree Emissary. Too strong. This time, we'll try to draw removal. Alright, let's bring in Anger of the Gods, Aether Gusts, Portable Holes, Marches, cut Narsets. Cut... some Teferis, some Shark Typhoons. Alright, well there's the plan. Alrighty, take the play, hand seems fine. Anger of the Gods is very nice to have, but no second red source yet. Portable Hole is probably good though. Turn 2 Portable Hole into... oh. Alright, I think being able to go Omen of the Sea into Aether Gust is better than being able to go Archmage's Charm next turn. Or vice versa, depending on what my opponent tries to play here. Okay, I think I'm supposed to want a untap land here. Ooh. Untap land and Lightning Helix is pretty tempting. Alright, so we get to Portable Hole to Carry Zev. Oh, Carry Zev's actually really cute with Embercleave, huh? Because it's 2 creatures. That's a neat inclusion. Annex. You can go away now. Does that go back on top of your deck opponent? They think it does. Okay. So I'm assuming I'm supposed to Archmage's Charm that, probably. Maybe not. I'm probably actually supposed to let them have the Annex and then draw 2. Hazoret. Oh, that's kind of annoying. Huh. Okay. I probably have to counter the Hazoret. What's your reasoning behind playing Saiba plus Yorion but no flicker effects? Is it just win more? Yeah, I'm not super in love with the part where flicker effects don't do anything if you don't draw Saiba Syphoner. I don't know that, like, Ephemerate blinking Yorion is good enough. We did add the red lands. That did happen. Do I want to put Yorion in hand here? I don't think so. I do think so. I don't need to play Wandering Emperor this turn. I can get away with just Lightning Helixing the carry Zev. If they Ember Cleave on Annex, I'm at 20. It's fine. Oh, right. Wandering Emperor is an answer to Hazoret. Wow. I wish Wandering Emperor existed back when Mono Red was a thing. Well, when Hazoret Red was a thing. So now they don't get to Ember Cleave me, and that makes me happy. Fable is like the most polar opposite of easily removed that there is, though. Like, there's so many parts of it, and it's so difficult to remove all the parts without, like, 2-for-1ing yourself. But, yeah, I have no clue what I would want to cut to play Ephemerate. And if the answer is Fable, then I would much rather just have Fable. Because it's a good on-curve card that's actually interactive. It can block, it can accelerate me, it can fix my hand, and then it still just assembles a lock with Saiba Syphoner. Except it's even easier to assemble a lock with Saiba Syphoner and less vulnerable to removal. I think I'm just supposed to block the Hazoret. The O-Ring that blinks doesn't work. The idea behind Ephemerate is that you end up with an infinite loop with Saiba Syphoner because Ephemerate casts itself twice, so you get to return one other spell and the Ephemerate with the 2 Saiba Syphoner ETBs. Well, this isn't how I want to use Wandering Emperor. But it is how I probably have to use Wandering Emperor.
And I will protect my people.
I would have preferred to have drawn an untapped land so that I could have Lightning Helix plus Wandering Emperor. I guess I could have waited and Wandering Emperor after attacks so that they didn't just kill Wandering Emperor. I was afraid of letting them have a cheaper Ember Cleave, though. I don't know whether that was correct on my part to play around. Do we play any Skyclave? No, that card's way too expensive for Historic. It only really sees play if you have, what's the word I'm looking for? Collected Company. And even then it's like, If Skyclave cost 1 mana, I'd probably play it. Alright. Now we will zap the Den of the Bugbear to play around Anger of the Gods. And then we hope to top deck an untapped land so that I can play Anger of the Gods and Wandering Emperor. Perfect, good work, deck. Alright, that means we should win. Opponent's flooding out. Wow, why did they play Sokenzan instead of cycling it? Huh. So that they could play Den? I mean, I guess. If you really want to. Alright, so we do Wandering Emperor. Wandering Emperor down ticks. Trades with Den. Wandering Emperor down ticks. We play Yorion. Set an instep stop. Emperor and Omen get blinkied. Because we hold on to Raugrin Triome because I'm probably going to wind up cycling at this game. Yeah, I don't really want Jwari Disruption, but I do want Wandering Emperor number the next one. What did this exile? Oh, it didn't exile anything because Yeah, I'm probably just supposed to get rid of the Robber of the Rich. I don't want them drawing one of my cards that could win the game. Alright, pumpity that, doity this, swing for 3. Alright, let's cycle Raugrin Triome, have 4 mana in case we draw into something that we want to cast. Do I want to cast Archmage's Charm here? No, not really, so pop Omen of the Sea. Definitely don't want to draw lands. Good work, deck. Correct order for those cards to be in. Oh, lands. Bummer. I probably should have down-ticked Wandering Emperor there, actually. Forgot it had enough loyalty for that to be an option. But also probably not relevant. Raven Up Ruins does 2 damage to us. That's fine. We are at 14. I want to draw lands while also drawing non-lands. Both at once is optimal. Alright. Block with the Yorion. Heck, block with the 4/4. Opponent plays Embercleave. We counterspell Embercleave. Opponent concedes. Yep. That is what happened. Changes. I should probably debate if I want to bring in this Expressive Iteration. If I'm not bringing it in against Aggro where I board it into every 1-drop, I probably shouldn't be playing it. So, Shark Typhoon out, Expressive Iteration in. Ooh. This is an extremely bad hand that doesn't do anything. But it's got 3 lands and 4 spells. Am I really allowed to mulligan a hand that's awful and doesn't do anything just because it's, like, not functional? I think this is about to be the best hand I've ever mulliganed. No. I'm not willing to compromise my integrity just yet. If I die, I'll die like I lived, keeping 7 cards. Never didn't have it. Although it's a little awkward that at the moment, unless I top deck an untapped white-red, or I guess any untapped white source, or red source that's also blue. Oh wait, literally every land in my deck makes blue at this point. Alright, so if I tap any land, then I can have Archmage's Charm next turn. It's probably better for me to Lightning Helix this turn. And then Omen of the Sea, Portable Hole next turn, rather than having Archmage's Charm next turn. In the meantime, my opponent missed a land drop, so I think I win. Oh, also, if it would die, you shuffle it into the library instead for some reason. Presumably to make it not combo with reanimate spells. I guess. I have no clue which of these I'm supposed to kill. If one of them is better than the other. Why would it combo with reanimate spells? You could... Well, I mean, like, raise dead. You could raise dead it, and then it could go back to raise dead. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's, like, technically a combo. Look, Nexus of Fate shuffled back into your library so that it would be weaker. All I'm saying is that Saiba Syphoner is the same thing. I'm not sure if that's, like, actually how it works, but I do believe it is how it is intended. Right? Apparently Syphoner is, like, according to Google, correct? But yeah, I am much more familiar with Siphon spelled with an I. I just go infinite with Sinister Reflections. Yeah, maybe there's a mono blue Sinister Reflections deck, huh? Clothis. Gross. I don't want that. Do I want that? I don't want that. Counter target spell. Oop. I would like more lightning helixes, please. Alright, well, if my opponent wants to play a Hasty Bonecrusher Giant, I got a Lightning Helix for it. And again, I set my stop on my upkeep and played the Saiba Syphoner so that I wouldn't accidentally top deck, like, an Archmage's Charm or something else that was worse than getting to play a 2-mana Saiba Syphoner. It is definitely awkward that you kind of have to commit to that before seeing your draw step, though. I don't think I should Saiba Syphoner here, because now my opponent actually has the mana necessary to... Oh, what the heck, I'll take a gamble. No! I have failed. Alright, whatever. I'll take Fable. I figured I was going to get an untapped land so that I could hold up Wandering Emperor. Now I have exposed myself to potentially getting Hazoreted for no reason. Hopefully one of my 2 Wandering Emperors will be an effective answer to Hazoret. Oh right, Glinseaf Siphoner was the other direction. That's true. Alright, double block. Lightning Helix. Okay, discard 2 cards? No. How terrified are you as the opponent here? When your opponent gets the option to loot 2 cards, says no, and doesn't put Yorion in their hand. How does that make you feel? Shoot.
My
Shoot.
judgment is fine.
No, no! I forgot to set my stop soon enough. I wanted to Saiba Syphoner and grab my Archmage's Charm, and now I can't! I gave my opponent the ability to resolve a spell when I didn't need to. One of these days I'll be less bad at Magic. One of these days. Okay, well. Lightning Helix, Narset, Wandering Emperor, Teferi feels like this hand has a plan. Is the plan good against mono white? I do not know. I think I'm playing the Irrigated Farmland and then playing the Lightning Helix next turn, probably. I think I want to be able to play Wandering Emperor on curve. And having a Lightning Helix for the Thalia and an untapped 4th land helps for that. I would not like this Thalia to do 2 damage to me. Thank you. No! Thalia is the worst. Especially when it's Thalia number 2.
Meditate and prepare.
Alright, I'll take a Flame Blast Bolt. That seems reasonable in this spot.
You cannot see your folly. I have reached my limit.
I think Wizard Captain's moderately nasty. Oh, I see. Alright, oh, I've lost. Oh wow, Adeline has Vigilance. I can't really win this game. I really can't win this game. Jeez. I don't even know if I can survive this attack.
Feel the energy of battle, then guide it like water.
So the good news is that they're going to sack the Ranger Captain. Bad news is, despite that, I still can't win. I think I have to hit March? That's not March, though. Alright, Flame Blast Bolt the Thalia, block the Adeline, take... Very lethal. Okay. Bad game to be on... I mean, I'm assuming I was on the draw. I certainly feel like I was on the draw with how hard I got beat up. Alright, Narset's out. Archmage's charms decreased. Teferi decreased. I don't know if I'm actually like supposed to have hardcasting Shark Typhoon be a game plan here. I guess Archmage's charm stealing 1-drops is actually supposed to be something that's like hypothetically a way that I can maybe have a chance in this game. I don't know. I feel like I definitely need Settle the Wreckage for that matchup. Maybe I'm just supposed to play Settle the Wreckage instead of Anger of the God? Alright, well, this hand isn't great, but it is playable-ish. Yeah. Maybe we do just play 2 Settle the Wreckages in the sideboard. I would like if my opponent didn't Thalia me. Yuck. Okay, well, I guess my plan for answering the first Esper Sentinel is to Shark Typhoon it. As for the second Esper Sentinel, I'm not yet certain. I imagine this probably takes Lightning Helix. That is indeed what they take. Okay. Curious. I would have assumed they wanted to trade with one Esper Sentinel. Not if they have a Thalia's Lieutenant. Fair enough. I think I'm just supposed to let them draw 2 cards and kill both Esper Sentinels here. Which actually makes this a timing mistake. If that was my line, I should have played it in the middle of their turn. Or, well, in the middle of their attack, rather. Alright, Teferi uptick does seem decent here with 1 chump blocker and a 2nd chump blocker available. I thought I was going to Lightning Helix the Spellbinder, but this seems better-ish. The fact that my opponent couldn't use those 2 lands that turn is such a huge tempo boon that I really didn't deserve to get. Another Sentinel. This pumps the Lieutenant. If both of them swing at the Teferi, then I think I'm obligated to Syphoner. It's interesting that they don't actually know whether or not the Syphoner costs 4 in that situation. So we get the March back. We get to double block the Lieutenant. Teferi takes some damage.
Let's skip to the good part.
Oh! Oh, thank you, deck. Oh, I love you too. Alright, stuff is gone, lands are played, lands are untapped. Oh really, can you only put a companion in your hand as a sorcery? Oh, I'm thinking of Foretell that you can do at the end of turn. Okay. Huh. Neat. Ranger Captain of Eos. Well, are they out of Esper Sentinels? Probably not, but hypothetically maybe. And a line. It's pretty annoying. Okay, good work, Omen of the Sea. Definitely do not want those 2 lands. Portable Hole, not really useful yet. Second Portable Hole, also not really useful yet.
Hold that thought.
Flame Blast Bolt, also not really useful yet. Alright. So we are going to do it this way so that I can still hold up Hall of the Storm Giants for blocking duty. Which is probably about as much as we could hope for out of the portable holes currently. Opponent animates Faceless Haven. We have Lightning Helix for it. I guess then I lose the Teferi anyway. So I'm probably just supposed to accept losing the Teferi. Which makes it a question of which of these should I kill with the Hall. I'm guessing the answer to that's probably the Ranger Captain. Alright. And a land. Interesting that they didn't play the Thraben Inspector. That's certainly odd. Alright, well, let's just jam the Yorion. Having a 4-5 seems pretty good here. Oh, Emperor. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense. I forgot that's a card that aggro decks are technically allowed to play. That Archmage's Charm seems good. The Portable Hole is actually going to be useful against the Emperor. Huzzah! Alright, so we get a Portable Hole, the 2-2, and then Yorion, the Wandering Emperor, and Flameless Bolt the Thalia. Not in that order.
Remember your
Gross. But also irrelevant. Alright, Flameless Bolt the Thalia. Portable Hole, the 3-3. Yorion the Emperor. Lightning Helix something.
For this?
Probably Faceless Haven. Maybe they'll easily done it? Probably Faceless Haven. Gross. They should animate the Faceless Haven in response to this trigger. They did not. I guess they're just don't want me to Lightning Helix the Faceless Haven? Alright, well, I mean, I still feel like I'm in a pretty stellar position here regardless, because I've got a Yorion, and a 4-5 flying blocker's pretty good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think I can win this on the draw, but here we go. The world where we steal the 3-4. Can't. Costs 2 mana. Or, well, the Thraben Inspector, actually. It did get up to being a 3-4, huh? Yeah, that is probably something we wind up doing as soon as I remember that we're allowed to do that. That's not a hand with lands. Okay, well, this is better than mulliganing to 5. We don't really get to win this. Maybe I draw perfectly. Expressive Iteration is not drawing perfectly. Alright, so we're going to have to draw Anger of the Gods to have a chance. Alright, so there is no way that I can have a chance, even if I draw Anger of the Gods. Neither of those is Anger of the Gods, so we get rid of them. And that's the ballgame. Alright. I don't get to beat that curve on the draw, huh? Yeah, I'd feel better if the Stormcarved Coast was untapped, but I don't want to throw away 2 lands Omen of the Sea, even if I maybe should. Grishko, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Yay! Untap land! We've done it! This makes it dramatically easier to find the Archmage's Charm before opponent visits us. You know what? Yeah, okay. I'll take 1 land. Do I want more than 1 land? No, because I'm about to lose the Teferi anyway, so the 5th land doesn't matter that much. Is Esper Sentinel a reprint, like from a past set? It is from Modern Horizons 2. And then got printed into Historic Anthologies? One of them? I don't know which one. They blend together. Shark Typhoon instead of Teferi is what they took. Really? That's surprising, but okay. I think I'm supposed to cycle Shark Typhoon rather than put Yorion in hand here, because the important thing against Niv-Mizzet decks is just finding a counterspell for the Niv-Mizzet. And that is best accomplished by cycling Shark Typhoon. Also, 5th land would be cool for Teferi. Alright. I will accept 4th land and Wandering Emperor. Does sort of clock Niv-Mizzet, I guess. Renan69, thanks for the resub. I continue to appreciate the support. Cycling Triomes, fine with that. That's not that much of a active threat. Thoughtseize. We will be Wandering Emperoring in response to that. I think they're supposed to take Saiba Syphoner here.
Must contend with me.
Maybe? I don't know. Depends on how effectively they think they can avoid dying.
Gods, to me.
I think my plan here is just Lightning Helix their face and then Saiba Syphoner the Lightning Helix back. And just, like, do as much damage to them as quickly as possible. Because, like, I think that's lethal if they play Niv. So they can't play Niv. Alright. You got a board wipe, right, opponent? Okay, pass with mana available. That's an option. That might get you out of this. Yeah, I'm definitely representing lethal. So what's the plan? Ooh, Lightning Helix to not be dead. Alright, good plan, good plan. Vanishing Verse on Saiba Syphoner. Okay. Yeah. That does buy you a turn.
There are so many myths of thoughtfulness before action.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm just supposed to take more Lightning Helixes right now, though. Just put Yorion in hand. Cast 2 Lightning Helixes next turn. Yeah, Narset does shut off cycling, unfortunately. Alright. That was not really how I expected to beat a Niv-Mizzet deck, but I guess I can be aggressive if I want to be. Tribal 2/2 tokens. I guess Saiba Syphoner isn't technically a token, is it? Alright, so Iteration, A Veto, Dispute, some Gusts. Maybe Portable Hole? Definitely no Flame Blessed Bolts. Shark Typhoon, yes. I feel like I'm supposed to cut Lightning Helixes. Portable Hole for the Kavus feels important, but maybe I'm just supposed to play March of Otherworldly Lights instead, since they can actually hit the Clothuses that are so popular. Probably not, but maybe. Probably. I don't like losing out on tempo. But maybe I'm supposed to accept it. Alright, well, this is like hypothetically not a good hand. And practically speaking, not a good hand. So we'll keep. Alright, Dovin's Veto is not, like, good early, but it does give me an answer to a Teferi. Thoughtseize probably takes March if they have a Kavu, otherwise takes Narset. There's not a lot of benefit in holding up Dovin's Veto this turn. There's also not a ton of benefit in playing out the Steam Vents anyway, so I might as well hold up the Veto. There's no way they're playing Narset, really, which is what the main appeal to holding on to Veto would be. But I think I just have so many lands that the 2 life from playing Steam Vents untapped on a turn in the future probably isn't going to be the end of the world. If my opponent misses this land, I just win. So that's cool. Saiba Syphoner. I don't actually think that I want that at the moment. I'm kind of more interested in a counterspell. Alright, Mystical Dispute's a very good counterspell. Okay. I think I want to put Yorion in hand. If my opponent misses another land, playing it out next turn is really appealing. Thoughtseize. Rough. Alright, well that gets rid of my Yorion, which is going to be a problem. I'm back to needing card advantage. Jwari Disruption is actually going to be kind of useful at this point in the game with the opponent missing land drops like this. Or it could get Thoughtseized. That's viable too. How do they always get Thoughtseized? I mean, I have absolutely no problem with my opponent drawing Thoughtseize instead of a 4th land in this spot. It's inconvenient, but it's also extremely good for me. I will take being slightly inconvenienced if it increases my chances of winning in the long run. What do they take with that Thoughtseize? The Veto? Yeah, I guess if they're going to try to resolve like a Teferi on 5, that makes more sense. But I think there's a lot of times where they're actually supposed to take the Jwari Disruption there. Alright. Can you beat Wandering Emperor, opponent? It feels like that's going to be really hard for you to do. Alright, well, yeah. No, I feel you. There's a very strong possibility they were dead to an untapped land there.